Just up in the countryside getting ready for this afternoon's show. You can hear the birds whistling away. So I've just had over 2 weeks off getting a replacement hip, so I'm just doing a little bit of exercise on it now. The physio told me to. I'm in Whitley Bay this afternoon, so we'll do a little feature down when I get closer to there. But what I want to talk about is there's a lot of people coming getting in touch with me, or they're getting in touch with other people and saying, I want to be a care home singer. The pubs are dying, the pubs are quiet. I'm going to be a care home singer. If you really think it's that easy, then try it, because I tell you what, the amount of people that's asked me about it and then they've sort of just vanished after a few goes. You know, they've had a few shows and they've just said, oh, it's too much, can I do it? You can't just step into it. You can't just say, oh, I'm a great singer or I'm a great musician, they're going to love me. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that one little bit, I'll tell you now. I'll tell you why, right? And let's go through some of the things, what you need to do to make your show work in a care home. So you're not one of them that every time somebody says, I'm looking for a singer this afternoon, you go, I'm available, I'm available. I say the same names every time. Of course you're available because nobody will book you. There's a reason you're available. And I mean that in the nicest possible way. You know, do your work on your show. But it's not just about that. You've got to be able to connect and connect quickly, instantly. Otherwise, that's it. You've lost them for the rest of the show. Let's go through a few things, okay? Right, so you've got a sparkly microphone. You've even got a shiny suit. You've got a great voice. You've got everything needed. One thing that's massive, outshines them all: personality. Me personally, I would say, if I had to describe myself, I would say I'm an average singer. But after almost every single show, and I do 3, 4, maybe 5 a week, after every one, they'll come home and say, that was brilliant. They don't come home and say, Kev, you've got a great voice, we need to rebook you. It's not based on your voice. Oh, Kev, I love that microphone, we're rebooking it. It's how much you've connected with the audience, how much fun they've had, and to keep them engaged for an hour isn't easy. So there's this myth, isn't there, that because you get them dancing on the tables and chairs in the pubs and clubs, or the nightclubs, that you're going to take that show into a care home and you're going to show them what you do for a living on a weekend. They're not interested. It doesn't mean anything to them. You've got to take them back to when they were happy, with a record player in the bedroom and things like that, or going to a ball. You've got to take them back to the fun days. And if you can do that, you'll make your connection. You've got to take them back to the rock and roll era, for instance, when they were meeting up with friends, when they were rebelling a little bit, swinging 60s, rebelling a little bit further. It will trigger in them. You might think it won't, but I'll tell you now, you start singing the popular songs from the 50s, 60s, even tap into the Motown 70s type of stuff, they will sing along with you. They'll remember the words better than you, but don't try and educate them with what you do on a weekend or how good you are. That's not what it's about. Right, so I've arrived at my home and I'm going to do the show now, and I just want to finish off. I hope I'm not sounding as though I'm trying to put people off. All I'm trying to do is prepare you, that don't go in thinking what you do in the pubs and clubs will work. That's all I'm trying to say, because I get a lot of people asking me opinion, just probably because I'm out there and I've been out there for a while doing them, and people say, oh Kev, I fancy in this, and I say, well, don't do what I've seen you do in the pubs and clubs. You're very good at it, but it's a different show. Oh, no, I'll be fine. No, you're not. Believe me, you won't, right? So, yeah, all I'm trying to do is mark your card that you've got to give them what they want, not what you want to give them, okay? But the other one is, I want to say, before you go into any type of care environment, they're all different, and every audience is different. Every single one of them. Whether you go into different dementia homes, there's different levels of dementia. But again, they're all individuals and they're all different. And some will respond quicker than others. You might have to wait till later in the show to get a response off some. And you might not. But you've just got to hang in there and you've just got to keep doing what you're doing, keep smiling. Now, if you go into a dementia care home, as I've said already, a bit of country and western, 50s, 60s, a little bit of 70s. They'll love it. They'll respond. Certainly in my experience, 90% of the time or more, they'll respond to that music. If it was the hits, okay, and yet if you're delivering them with a smile. And I would say if you go into special needs homes, which you will get work for that once you're on the circuit and you're established, it's a totally different ballgame. They might want clubland, they might want 80s, 90s clubland. They might even want a little bit of chart music, because they could be young. They could be very, very young. They could be any age. You could have people 50, 60 something in the audience, but you could have teenagers in the audience as well. And, so you've just got to try and have something ready. Don't be frightened to just try a song, because as I've said earlier in the video, they're not there to judge you. But every home is different, and I'm going to give you an example which I wasn't sure about putting into the video actually. And I won't name the home, but I turned up on the 22nd of December last year, which is 2025, and there was a lady waiting outside for me before we went in, and I just assumed it was a Christmas party for a routine care home show. And she said, I've just got to tell you before we go in there, it's an end of life sort of thing for a lot of people in there today, and they won't see another Christmas. In fact, she says there's some people in that room when you go in, they won't see this Christmas. I said, it's the 22nd of December. She said, I'm just letting you know before you go in. It's not what you're used to. I had to sort of count to 10 and then count to 10 again, excuse me. So I went in and I looked around, and all the decorations were up, they all had the party hats on, but it was totally different. A lot of people had their families sitting around. There was these dialysis type machines. There was people hooked up to them. There was one guy who was lying flat on a bed, and he had machinery hooked up to him. And I was, dear me, got to hold it together here, you know what I mean? It's their party. So I was setting my gear up, and I kept thinking, this is difficult. I was so emotional. But then I just thought, get a grip, Kev. This is a Christmas party. If it's going to be the last one, then make it the mother of all Christmas parties. And with that, I just turned around and I started singing Slade, Merry Christmas, and they just started joining in. They were having the time of their lives. They had the party hats on. They were eating, drinking. They were the ones that could dance were dancing. The staff were dancing with them in the chairs. And we just had a big, big party. 2 or 3 times I had to hold it together. I kept remembering and looking and thinking, I can't believe what I'm saying. This is awful. And then I thought, snap out of it, Kev. You've got a job to do here. It's your job to entertain them. And I had to do that. Now I'm going to touch on one guy who just kept catching my attention. And it's a guy I mentioned earlier. He was lying flat on this bed and he was hooked up with something, it's electronic. I'm not good on medicals. And I noticed out the corner of my eye, he sang along with every song. So we finished with White Christmas. And I glanced at him, and as I started singing it, his lips were moving to the song, very faintly, obviously. He was very weak, bless him. And I thought, you know what, so I got a spare microphone, and I took my spare microphone over, and I held it to his mouth. And I stopped singing, and I just let him take over, and he sang the final verse and chorus. Oh, dear me. It was so emotional. But the whole room was just emotionally charged. And he was so happy, and he was smiling. And I left that building, and I got in the car, and I just thought, how lucky am I? I've got in the car, and I'm driving away. That's how lucky I am today. I thought, I'll never complain ever again. I know we do complain about things every day, prices or whatever, politics. But I just got in the car and I thought, what I've just seen today, I am so appreciative of what I've got. And that lovely man will always stick with me forever. And there were some beautiful people in there. There was young people. There was elderly people. This guy, I would say, was probably in his 60s. But you know what? He just loved singing along with that song. I thought, he knows all this song better than me. So I just took my microphone over and and I held it to his mouth and I let him finish the song. And he finished it brilliantly. He got a massive round of applause and he was really happy with his applause. And I just thought, that'll do for me. So these are the type of things you've just got to be ready for. Every audience is different and they're not going to love you immediately. You've got to show your love to them first. You've got to invite them into your little world for an hour and get that connection. So listen, good luck to everybody. I'm just trying to pass on my experience. It's just something for me to look back on maybe in years to come when I pack in. And I'll look back and remind myself of the things I did. So good luck, everybody out there. If you're going to do them though, just remember, you've got a very special, unique audience every single time. Treat them that way. Kev the Care Home Singer, signing off. Thank you.